So welcome back again to 100 days of Python programming challenge. So today is day 3 and today we are going to create and simple yet an interesting program which is unit converter. Yes my friend, you heard me right, a unit converter. So basically a unit converter means you can convert the kilometers to miles, centimeter to meters or kg to pounds. That is what an actual unit converter is. So today we are going to create a simplified version of it, a command line version of it using functions as we always do. In this one, we are just going to take two conversions. The first one is kilometer to miles and miles to kilometer, that is 1, and meter to centimeter and centimeter to meter, that is 2. So these are the only two that we're going to take. But if you want to take it to the higher level, you can add more functions inside of it, and you can add just a little bit more if else, just a little more conditionals to it, and you'll be ready and good to go, because this is created in a really clean way. The code is so clean that you can add your own variables inside of it and you won't find it difficult in any regards. So without wasting our time, let's just get onto our coding screens. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is by creating function. We are just going to be creating the unit converter program for basically two things: kilometer to mile, mile to kilometer, and then meter to centimeter and centimeter to meter. We're not just going to like every single thing. We are not going to cover all of the stuff like kilogram to pound, pound to kilogram and everything. That is going to be a little bit more complex. Not in a way of complex, but in a way that we have to write too much code. We have to define every single logic. So I'm just going to give you a random vague, let's just say an example that this is how you do stuff. And if you want to add your own variables, if you want to add more and more unit converters, then you can do that by your own self, because this is where you'll actually learn how to do that. So we are going to create 4 functions, basically kilometer to mile and then miles to kilometer, right? So it's gonna be very simple. So why use function? I already have told you, but I'm telling you again to make it look at least a little bit more professional and to, let's just say, attain a level of freedom. I would say a level of freedom. When you have created functions for every single thing, then you get a lot more freedom, because now when you want to make the changes, you can just make the changes in the function itself and things are done. Because if you want to use this code multiple times, you have to write it multiple times if you are not using function. But if you are using function, just make the changes at one place, everything will be changed. Perfect, right? So that's one of the reasons that I prefer functions over writing the random, like, what is it even called, what is the approach, procedural approach, I think. Yeah, whatever that happens to be. Centimeter to meter, right? In centimeter to meter, we are going to pass the argument as centimeter. So this is the logic. As you can see, the 0.621371, I'm not sure about this. I just read it a few minutes ago before creating this program. I just gone onto the internet and just read what is the number, like what is the conversion. So now we are going to create our main function, which is going to be unit converter, where we write all of our actual logic. The first thing that we're going to do is create a menu. Call it the unit converter. Now we want 4 stuff, because we want 4 options. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 will be kilometer to miles. Kilometer. Then there will be, okay, let's just do 4 of them. 3, 4. That's it. And then miles to kilometers, right? It's pretty simple. No need to overcomplicate the stuff. Miles to kilometer, kilometers to mile, and then meter to centimeter and centimeter to meter. That's it. Okay, so this is centimeter. Then the same thing, centimeter to meter. That's what we're going to do up here. Once we're done with that, we'll create a variable calling it the choice. And inside of that, we'll have the input. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be our conversions. Like you can choose one of the options from this and perform that particular task. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. Attaboy. Once you're done with that, we'll just have the options like if, the conditions if the choice is 1, if the user enters, let's say for example 1, then what will be the conversion? Like the conversion will be basically kilometers to miles, right? So he will enter kilometers and he'll get the output in miles. So that's why we are saying kilometers, km kilometers. Basically it will show that 10 kilometers equals to this much miles, right? I want output like that. I don't want a vague output like if you enter 20, then you just get the output 40 miles or 10 miles or 6 miles, something like that. I want it to be really professional, at least a little bit like command line professional. If you want it really very professional, you create GUIs or application or something like that, but I want it command line professional. That's it. So this is how you do it. And as I've explained in the last episode, if you have watched it, if you didn't, then just I'll explain it real quick, that the colon.4f basically means that after decimal number you will have only 4 float numbers. I don't want it to print like 100 float numbers after point. So after decimal only 4 digits will be shown in the answer, right? Because the miles, when we are converting from kilometers to miles or centimeter to meter, there is a huge possibility that we'll have answer in float numbers. No, not meter to centimeter doesn't have that, but miles to kilometers will definitely have floating points inside of it. So I want only 4 numbers, right, after decimal. That's why I'm keeping it to 4. Feel free to remove the .4f after the centimeter stuff, meter and centimeter. So third, fourth, you can just remove that. Okay. So simply, I guess we're done with it. Alright, so let's just run this. Then oh sorry, we forgot the function calling. The main stuff we forgot. We defined all of the functions but we didn't call it. So let's just call the function real quick and just execute this and see what happens. And kilometers to miles, let's just say 1, and I'll enter the kilometers as 100 and it says 62 miles. So this is how the program actually works. The code is available on the GitHub. The link is in the description. You can just check it out and download it if you want, and just stay tuned with the series. Let's just make some quick changes up here. Just keep it to elif so we can have an else. So if in case user selects something apart from 1, 2, 3, 4, then it will execute the else part, which will say invalid choice. So the code is available on GitHub. Just go and download it and share this series with more Python enthusiasts like you. So see you in the next one.